Question different paper. So consider the predicate P. So P represents the predicate. Which of the following option represent PC? So they are asking to find the PC. PC means major clauses. Here A, B, C are the clauses. A, B, C are the clauses which does not contain any operation, logical operators, that is and, or, not, implies. These operators does not have. So PC they are asking, that is the major clause of C is the major clause. So they are asking what is a clause. A, B, C are the clauses. So P is the predicate, is the logical expression in terms of logical operators. In the question, the clause C determines the predicate P when P equals to C equals to true, XOR operation with predicate C equals to false. Okay, you have to find this result. So this is the PC. So this is the question. What is the PC? PC means when the clause C determines the predicate P, and to flip the truth value of the clause C. To flip the truth value means true and false. That is C equals to true and C equals to false. And this method using the XOR method operation. So for this XOR method operation, you have to remember two formulas. When true XOR with X, it gives complement of X bar, or we can write X not of X. That is false XOR with X may be any expression or single variable also it becomes, that is X only. So you can remember this is also helpful. And you want to know the truth table of XOR, OR gate and AND gate and NOT gate. Please once more you revise these truth tables, it will help you solve easily. So how do P predicate P determine C equals to true equals to, that is replace C equals to 2 in the predicate. So the predicate is here, right? P equals to A or B and not of C. That is A or B and C is not of C. Not of C is true, right? C is true. C is not of true. That is A or B and not of true means not of true. False, right? Not. So not gate. How we represent not gate? Here if we give true, it becomes false. If we give false, it becomes true. So that is false. So AND gate. So for the AND gate, so output is X and Y. If both inputs X and Y are 1 only, X equals to Y equals to 1 only, the output becomes 1. Otherwise 0. Here false means 0. This one is 1 or 0. The resultant output is still 0. That is false. This result output is false. You can remember this is the equation number 1. So this value is false. Next we have to find this one. That is predicate P with clause C equals to false. That is A or B replace and not of C. C equals to false, right? That is true. It becomes true. That is A or B and not of false equals to true. So AND gate, right? If one of the input is true, so it depends on this value. If it is true or false. If it will be true, it becomes true. If it will be false, A and B result is false. False and with it becomes false. So that is the final result is, it depends on this value A or B only. So this value is A or B. Finally, we want to find PC false XOR with A or B, right? So that is PC equals to A, not XOR, true, right? So here its value is false. First one is false. So that is false XOR with A or B. So that is we are calculating this value at C equals to true and this value at C equals to false in the predicate. So in the XOR operation, false XOR with this one. This is very very important. False XOR with X equals to X, right? Here value. What is the X? It will be the output, resultant output. So false XOR with, for example, this value is X. This is the value A or B. This is the output. So PC predicate equal to A or B is the answer for this question. So A or B is the answer. Okay friends, in the different A or B depends on A or B. If A or B is true and true, it becomes true, right? This value. If A or B is false and true, false, output is false, because AND gate, right? How the AND gate works? 0 0 0 1, right? In terms of true or false. So AND gate, true true, true false, false true, false false. So AND gate output is, both are true, output is true. If one of the inputs is false, output become false. This input is false, output become false. This input is false, the output become false. Is true or false, its value will also becomes changing with respect to the inputs. So A or B. Friends, thank you for watching. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe my channel, and thank you for watching.